Hello, my name is Mike Gutorna with SEMA, the Senior Insurance Marketing Association, and today we'll be talking about door-to-door marketing. Now, when we talk about door-to-door marketing, people most commonly associate it with vacuum cleaners, Bibles, Tupperware, etc. But there are so many agents who still go door-to-door. But before we jump into it, I want to remind you all that you cannot use door-to-door marketing for Medicare Advantage Part C plans or Part D prescription drug plans per CMS rules. Now, why door-to-door? First question I get from agents is, why would I want to go door-to-door? Well, simple. First reason, that's low cost. It's very inexpensive to walk up to someone's house and do this. Doesn't cost a whole lot. Second thing is, people can see who you are. It's easier to say not interested over the phone than in person. Plus, you don't have to worry about caller ID or voicemail being as a buffer if they're home and you're calling and they just choose not to answer. If you knock on their door, they're more prone to answer the door. It can be done on days in between appointments or on light appointment days. So if you have an appointment at 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock across town, in between those appointments, you can go ahead and knock on some doors in that area. Or if you have no appointments that day, it gives you something to do to be productive. Now, some of the downsides, of course, could be dependent on weather. If there's a monsoon outside or if it's a blizzard outside, it's less desirable to go door to door. But remember, in adverse weather, most seniors are home. So if it is a light rain or rain outside, they're more prone to be out there. It also can be time consuming. You can get a lot more cold calls in than you can door-to-door marketing. Now, who are you going to go see? The two most common leads are business reply cards. These are cards that they sent back to you saying they were interested in the product or service you're offering, and also a list, a T65 list, a T67 list, and you could focus these lists on certain areas you want to door-to-door market. So these are the two most common lead sources I've used in the past to do door-to-door marketing. Now, areas of market, I have found a better success rate in lower income areas. They don't get all the solicitation that others do. And I found that middle class and upper middle class are usually not as receptive to door-to-door solicitation. But no matter where you're going, you want to be respectful of no soliciting signs and also your local laws. Some cities have very strict laws on door-to-door marketing, and make sure you're following those rules because you don't want to have the local authorities stop you from doing this. Also, watch the area. It gives you the opportunity to find senior centers, senior communities, parishes, and other areas to market to where seniors might congregate. Now, before you go out, you've got your leads in hand or your lists in hand, you want to make sure you're focused on one area to maximize your time. You don't want to have long drive times between these appointments. Ideally, you want to park your car, hit some homes, walk back to your car, move on to the next area. If you can, of course, within reason. Grab a clipboard. It's a nice surface to write on while you're standing up and also looks professional. So I use a clipboard that actually opens up. It's not a metal one, it's a plastic one, but that way I could have little notes in there or my business cards and such with me without flapping all over in the wind. Another thing I've used is a name tag. I got a lanyard from a local office supply store, and then I got a little plastic holder to go on it, and then you could just insert your business card, or you can make an ID. I made an ID with just my laser printer, and I had my picture on there, and I put local benefit advisor, and I put my phone number on there. And the backside, the one of the states I market in has a wallet-sized insurance license. I had that on the reverse side to show I was a licensed agent. So you can do that, or you can just put it blank on the next side, whatever works for you. And dress appropriate. Slacks and a polo or blouse for women, no shorts, no t-shirts. You want to look presentable and approachable. Now, it did take me a while to actually use a clipboard name tag, and I found that when I use those, people more prone to talk to me because they look more professional, look there with a purpose. Now, what are you going to leave behind? What materials are you going to take with you? If they're not home, I leave a door hanger, a flyer, or a note, typically, depending on what your preference is. Make sure you use a bigger font so it's easier to read, 14 point or higher. And I put 2 on one piece of paper, so I use half sheets for my notes. I didn't use a full 8 by 11 piece of paper. And of course, I use bright colored paper to stand out in their mailbox or in the door wherever I left it. So, and this is also convenient when you have the opening clipboard. You could all slide all in there. But then at home, you could open your clipboard, pull out a note, write on it, and leave it. And this is what I would use. Nice and simple. I would have a date with a blank, time with a blank. Sorry we missed you. We received your reply card in the mail. For more information about low-cost final expense coverage, please call this phone number so we may deliver your information. Thank you. I would handwrite the date, the time, and my name. So that way they had something to read. You know, if everything is typed out, they're more prone to just glance over it. But if you actually write stuff on there, people are more prone, their eyes will be focused more on that. Very similar with the T65 list. I've just changed the one line. Our records indicate you're turning 65 soon and may have some questions about coverage. Nice and simple, same concept. Again, I would print 2 per sheet, just have them cut in half. And I use whatever bright color piece of paper was the cheapest at that time. Pink, green, orange, whatever. Now, what's your goal at the door? So are you wanting to get in the home right then and there? And this should be a goal, and is more common with business reply cards in the list, because at least with a business reply card, they may remember filling it out. But the main goal is let them know I could help them. You know, my goal was to set an appointment, drop off some information for them to review, and ask to follow up with them. Here's some information, either a flyer or carrier information. You know, if it was a final expense plan, maybe some costs on funeral coverage or what funerals cost. So then look over and, wow, I didn't realize a funeral costs $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, whatever the median is in your area. Give them something to think about and follow up with them. Now, what to say when you're at the door really depends on why you're there. Something similar to the leave behind material. So if they actually are home, I would just say basically the same things that are on the reply, those little notes I leave behind. You know, just be polite and tell them why you're there. Have a flyer on your services again, because they probably won't let you in, and that's fine. Make sure that you follow the Medicare rules, though. Don't use the word Medicare, preferably, on any flyers you're using. You can say Medicare supplement, but don't make it look like you're working for Medicare. And I always joke that I'm old-fashioned. I still make house calls. And again, don't be offended. You're a stranger coming to their door. There are lots of news stories for seniors out there about not letting anyone in their home who just shows up. They don't know who you are. So don't be offended if they don't open the screen door or whatever and not let you in. And again, that's just why you want to leave some materials or resources for them to look at. Now, the best piece of advice I can give on senior agents: plan, strategize, think it through their head, and never make a call. So you make sure you just do it. To borrow it from Nike, just do it. You know, we've all heard the saying, you talk your way out of a sale. Well, don't forget that you could also think your way out of productivity. I can tell you, when I started door-to-door marketing, I was handed a list and I got a pat on the back and it was go get 'em, Tiger. So it took me some time to get my presentation polished, smooth, what I was going to do. I went out there with just literally a sheet of paper and myself and went and knocked on doors. You know, it took me a while to realize I needed a clipboard and a name tag and some other materials. And you're going to do the same thing. What I was going to say is much different when I first went out to what it is now, because again, it's much more polished, it's rehearsed, I've got experience. Well, if you never pull the trigger and go out and do it, you will never get experience. And how can you make it more polished? So just do it. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. But that is the best advice I can give on door-to-door marketing. Hopefully you took away some information on this. If you have ideas, questions, or comments, feel free to post them at SEMA, either on the forum or you could write your own blog about door-to-door marketing as well. But I thank you for viewing this presentation, and we look forward to seeing you on the site.